The doer has no identity. When I say the doer has no identity, I'm not making a spiritual claim. I am describing a mechanical fact. What identity actually is. Identity is self reference. It is the moment of attention from what is happening to what this says about me. That shift is identity, not the label, not the story, the shift. Now look carefully at the doer. In the doer, attention is inside the act. There is no reference point called me. There is no commentary running in parallel. Not because it was suppressed, because there is no space for it. Attention is fully occupied. You don't say, I am authentic right now, while lifting a heavy weight with full presence. You don't say, I am being real, while solving a hard problem absorbed in it. Those thoughts can't enter, not due to discipline, but due to irrelevance. No identity does not mean no personality. This is where people get confused. The doer still has preferences, skills, temperament, intensity, but none of these are being watched. They are functioning, not being claimed. Identity requires ownership. The doer does not own the act. The act owns the doer. Why authenticity cannot be pursued? The moment you try to be authentic, you split one part acting, one part checking if it's authentic. That second part kills authenticity. Authenticity is not a goal, it is the absence of self monitoring. A simple test, very important. Ask yourself during any activity, am I doing or am I checking how I am doing? If checking is present, identity is present. If checking is absent, identity is absent. No philosophy needed. Final correction. Do not try to remove identity. Trying is identity. Just notice this. Identity is not something you have, it is something you enter. And you enter it the moment attention leaves the act. Stay with the act. Not as a practice, but because everything else is secondary. That is what I mean. Nothing mystical, nothing moral, just mechanics. The doer. Listen carefully. The doer is not someone who is trying to be authentic. The doer is someone whose attention is inside the act itself. There is no audience, no internal commentary, no image to protect, no future payoff being calculated. Energy is not managed here. It is naturally unified. Why? Because attention is singular. The performer lives in reflection, is doing something, but simultaneously watching how it looks, how it lands, what it says about him. So energy splits, part into the task, part into self-image, part into imagined judgment. This is not living, this is simulation. A performer is never in the moment, he is always one step outside it. The watcher. When I say watcher, I'm not talking about awareness here, I'm talking about psychological watching. The watcher I describe is monitoring himself, evaluating himself, narrating himself. This is still ego, just wearing spiritual clothing. It is not freedom, it is distance from life, secondary life. This is accurate. Yes, performer and watcher live second hand. They don't touch reality directly, they touch their thoughts about reality. They don't eat food, they eat their opinion about the food. They don't train, they manage the identity of someone who trains. They don't love, they manage the image of being lovable. That is not life, that is interpretation. One crucial correction. Do not turn being a doer into another identity. The moment you say, I'm a doer, you are already a performer again. The doer does not know he is a doer. He is too busy being observed. Final clarity. Energy is scattered only when identity enters. Identity enters when there is an internal audience. Remove the audience, energy unifies automatically. No practice needed, no method needed, no effort needed. Just stop standing outside your own life. That's it. So, life is not meant to be observed, managed, or performed. The moment you step outside the act to check who you are, how you look, or what this means, you are no longer living, you are commentating. The doer has no identity because identity requires distance, and the doer has none. When attention is fully inside the act, energy unifies, effort disappears, authenticity is irrelevant because nothing is being displayed. You don't become a doer, you stop living the act. That's all. Everything else is a secondary life. So, the doer has no identity because identity exists only when attention turns back on itself. When attention is fully inside the act, there is no self image to protect, no role to maintain, no observer to impress. Not because identity was removed, but because it never entered. Identity requires distance, doing requires intimacy. The moment you ask, who am I being right now? You have already stepped out of life and into concept. The doer does not live as someone, he lives as the act itself. That is what it means.